Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Pastor Adah with you. Today I'm using a subject, the monitoring eye. I am talking about the monitoring eye. You wonder, which eye is that? Whose eye is monitoring mankind? You and I. The eye of God. People, the eye of God is a monitoring eye. Whatever you do, wherever we go, whatever we say, we are under the monitoring eye of God. Now, that teaches us something here, that we need to be careful about the things we do, our ways, our actions, because we are being monitored day by day, minute by minute, and at the end of the day, you and I are gonna give an account to God. Okay, now, there is something I learned, there's something I've learned. You see, God teaches us lessons. And one of the ways in which He teaches us is by the things, we observe around us, or the things He makes us to see. One day, I was seated in my chair meditating, and I happened to look on the floor. And as I looked, I saw an ant, moving around to and fro, moving in every direction. It would reach a point, turn around, and then stop. All the time it was making movements before me on the floor. I was watching it. And at one time, it got exhausted and it stopped. Then after some time, it resumed again. Now, as I watched this ant, I got a lesson. And this is the lesson I got. The lesson I got is that you and I are under a monitoring eye. I was monitoring the movements of this ant, but it was not aware. It didn't know someone was monitoring its movements. It didn't know someone was watching its ways. But there I was monitoring it, and it was in every direction it moved, and in whatever behavior it behaved, it was within the field of my vision. Because you see, my eye is bigger than the ant itself. I could see every movement made. It was within the field of my vision. Then I learned something, that you and I are within the field of God's vision. God teaches us by the things we see sometimes. I remember, the Bible says in Jeremiah 1, the Lord asked Jeremiah, "What do you see?" Jeremiah said, "I can see a pot facing from the north." And the Lord said, "From the north, evil is coming upon these people." So God teaches us sometimes lessons by the things we see. Now, when the Bible talks about God watching our ways, it means that God monitors everything that we can say, we do, and we think actually. Come with me to Proverbs 5:21. Proverbs 5:21, the Bible says, "For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and He watches all his paths." My God. The ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord, and He watches all his paths. Now, when the Bible talks about man's ways, it's not about the physical ways only. The Bible does not mean to say that, God watches our physical ways, whereby when I move from point A to point B, He's seeing me. Yes, I know He sees me. From when I take a plane, He's seeing me. As I do my business, He's seeing me. Well, those are just part of God's way, of man's ways, which God monitors and watches. You see, when the Bible talks about man's ways, this includes thoughts, motives, behaviors, characters, all that, intentions, all those are man's ways, and they are under the gaze of God's eye. And remember, one day we shall give an account to the one who monitors our actions and all our movements. So now, Think of man's ways. Think of your ways as I think about my ways. When God watches you and I, what does He see? Your ways, my ways. Our actions, your actions. What does God see? You see, we have many ways of doing things. But, God sees where one is doing right and where one is doing wrong. You may find people doing the same thing. Take an example of business. People run business, different people run businesses, and they all do it with the same purpose, to get money, to get an income. That's okay. They need an income, they need money, they need to survive. But what are the ways and the paths they take to achieve to their purpose of getting money? The ways. You see, someone may run a business, and when I look at him, I see him making profits, and to me, it seems to be okay. He seems to be a good person, doing his work, minding his business, and he's making money and he's prospering, and he's able to cater for his family. But what are the ways he's using to run that business? The ways, what are the motives? What are the motives? What are the purposes? What are the ways? Is there cunningness, craftiness in the business? Is he doing it with honesty? All those are ways. Do you take honest ways to run your business? Do you take upright ways to run your business? Is there honesty? Is there wise dealing? Is there proper dealing? And then someone else will do his business, with honesty and sincerity, and these two people will both arrive to profits at the end of the day, but they have taken different ways, and God watches all those ways, and at the end of the day, there is accountability, because at the end of the day, we shall all stand before the Lord and give an account of the way we have done, the things we have done. And so, brethren, my point is this: in whatever you do, we need to know that we are under the monitoring eye of God. And we are not going to hide anything. We are within the field of His vision. None of us is hidden from the field of His vision. When you do some nice act, to someone, some good deed to someone, what are the motives? When you were nice to someone's employee, what are the motives? Is it to draw this person from their employer? Are you doing it, to gain favor in the sight of this employee so you can take the person away? Yes, you are good. People look at you as being good to this person. The person thinks you are good to them. Even the employer thinks this one is good to my employee. But what are the motives? What are the motives behind the good acts you do, the good smile? May the Lord help us. Remember, we are under the monitoring eye of God. From the time you and I wake up to the time we retire, we are under the monitoring eye of God. And so, my point is, let's come to our senses, and in everything we do every day, act as if we are under the monitoring eye of God, for indeed we are. So let's act like we are under the monitoring eye of God, our thoughts, our motives, our deeds, our ways, everything. And then, when we do that, then we know, at the end of the day, when we stand before the judge of all the earth, then our ways, we won't be ashamed of our ways and our behaviors. Thank you for watching. Shalom, and God bless you. See you next time.